So in the last class we were talking about XML and its DTDs and schemas. Today we'll move ahead. As I told you people that the applications, they exchange the data in the XML format. When a Java application reads this XML data, let's say some other application, it has sent XML data to Java application. In that case, the Java application, how it will be able to read that or use that XML data? Java application, will it be able to straight away use that XML data? Yes, what it is supposed to do? Java application, will it be able to straight away use XML data? Yes, what do people think? No, right? So if Java application wants to use this XML data, then what it is supposed to do here? What it has to do? It has to parse the data. So the Java application, if it wants to use this data, then it has to transform this data into appropriate Java format again. If the Java application wants to use this data, then it has to transform the data into appropriate Java format. When I say appropriate Java format, yes, what would be the appropriate Java format? You all are familiar, right? Yes. What will be the appropriate Java format? Objects, right? So that XML data, it has to be transformed into Java objects. Then only the Java application will be able to make use of that XML data. Yes. So, you know what? I can say that we got very good support for transforming this XML data into Java objects in Java. So there is a very good API which I'm going to teach you people today. First of all, this JAXP. JAXP stands for Java API. Sorry, Java Architecture for XML binding. Yes. This is an API. It is actually known as a data binding API. Yes. So whenever you got some XML data, in that case, in order to transform that XML data into Java objects or vice versa also, let's say you got Java objects and you want to transform the Java objects to XML format. Let's say this Java application, if it is supposed to send the Java objects in the XML format, it has to transform the Java objects to XML format. Yes. So in that case also, you see, you need the support for transforming the Java objects to XML format, right? Yes. That is where the JAXP comes into the picture. Yes. Fine. So now you'll find that by default you have the support for working with this JAXP API in Java. JAXP, P for Pune. So it is a more, what I can say is a more the hard way of doing the things. Using JAXP, you have to, write the code explicitly to transform those things and all. So, but in JAXP, you don't need to do that. Yes. So compared to, this is like, your JDBC and Hibernate. So what is the difference between JDBC and Hibernate? So in JDBC, you have to take care of most of the things on your own. But in case of Hibernate, so everything is taken care by Hibernate itself, which is far more advanced. So even JAXP is far more advanced than JAXP, I can say. Yes. So I'm creating a normal Java project here, and then I'm going to copy the XML file. I'm going to show you people an XML file here. Okay. So all of you people can just check this XML file. In this XML file, you got purchase order details of some XYZ company. So you see order date, you got shipped to address, bill to address, what items have to be shipped, what items have been purchased. So you got those details here. Yes. Let's say this is the XML data which is passed on to the Java application here. Yes. So how to treat the XML data here in this case and work with it. How to transform, because we can't straight away use this XML data in Java applications. You'll find that you have to transform this XML data into Java objects. You see the way we transform the records into objects. When we fetch a record from the database server, so we don't use it straight away, right? So instead what we do, we'll try to transform that record into an object and then we'll be using it. Similarly here, we need to handle such transformations. That is where JAXB comes into the picture. JAXB comes into the picture. JAXB provides components called as marshaller and unmarshaller. So these are the two important components, so main important components which we'll be working with in JAXB. Marshaller, what it does is, it will take Java objects and will transform the Java objects to XML format. Okay, this transforms Java objects to XML format. Yes. An unmarshaller transforms XML data to Java objects here. Yes. So whenever you got an XML document, with the help of this unmarshaller, you can transform the XML data to Java objects. Then make use of that data in Java. Whenever you got some Java objects and you want to transform that Java objects to XML format and send it to some other application, then you can use the marshaller. Yes. Yes. Now, you know what, here, for this XML document, we got an XST as well. What is XST? It is schema definitions, which we were talking about in the last class. Basically, what exactly you got here in this XST? What exactly you got here in this XST? what exactly got here in this XST. Yes, in the XST you got the structure of that XML document. You know, the purchase order type XML document. The structure of that XML document is defined here in this XST. Okay, so the legal building blocks, you know, of that XML document, they are defined in this XST here. I can say yes, fine. You know, complete schema definition, that means complete structure of XML document is defined in that XST. Yes, fine. So we have a relation here. Uh, just let me explain this with an example, with a diagram here. Just a second. You see, this diagram, you got XML schema, and XML schema means your XST file. And you will find that usually XML documents, they follow this XML schemas. They follow the XML schemas here. Yes. They follow XML schemas. For an XST or an XST, you can have a number of XML documents. That means there can be more than one XML document which follows that XST or XML schema. Okay. Yes. Now you see on the right side you got class and objects. You see, class, you'll find that you got instances for a class. You have objects which belongs to that class. You see, the class, it defines or describes set of similar objects, right? Yes. For a class, there can be several instances. We can create a number of objects for a class, right? Yeah, fine. Now, you see the relation. XML schema is similar to class, Java class, and XML documents are similar to objects here. You see, usually in the class, okay, class defines the structure of a Java object, right? It's a blueprint for or template for creating Java objects. Similarly, you got XML schema which defines the structure of an XML document. Yes, it's a kind of template which defines the XML document structures. Okay, fine. So, you see, in XML schemas we don't store the data, and even in Java classes we don't store the data. Where we store the data? In Java objects. When it comes to Java, objects will hold the data. When it comes to XML, XML documents will hold the data. Yes, that I want you to understand. Okay, yes, fine. Now, how exactly this JAXB works? So I said, if you want to, transform an XML document to Java object, in that case, you have to use unmaskler. Okay, if you got XML document, in order to transform it into Java objects, you have to use unmaskler. What unmaskler does? What exactly the unmaskler does? The unmaskler, you will find that It will take XML data and then transform it into Java objects. But how exactly unmaster will work? How exactly unmaster component will know that, okay, it has to create a appropriate Java object. Okay, which class object it has to create. Okay, which class object that unmaster has to create for a particular XML document, and how it has to map that XML elements to the properties of the Java objects. Yes. So this concept, what we can relate it to one of the concepts which we have recently gone through. You people are familiar with this concept, you know. We can relate it to one of the concepts which we saw recently. What is it? ORM. That's right. Object Relational Mapping. ORM. So objects to relations or records. You see, we did that mapping, right? ORM, object to relational mapping. This concept is very much similar to ORM. Here I can say it is OXM, object to XML mapping. Object to XML mapping. XML mapping. Yes. Okay. So now you see here do we need to explicitly map these things which you got? What exactly we are supposed to do here, and how to provide that mapping details to the master and unmastered components so that they will make use of it for transforming Java objects to XML and vice versa. Yes. So one good advantage here, let me tell you people, we got an advantage. We got a tool which will take care of these things for us. We got a tool which is going to take care of mappings for us. Here, I'll tell you. But before that, I've got a very small task for you people. Yes. What is it? Given this XML XSD or XSD of which you can take anything. Now, can you people define an appropriate Java class for this XML document? For the XML representation which you got here, can you people define an appropriate Java class? How exactly we are going to represent? Sorry, how exactly we are going to represent that XML in Java? Yes, just I want the classes for that. Yes, at least briefly. Okay. So which class will be the main class here? Which class will be the main class here? Purchase order or order class, right? And you'll have other classes like address, yes, SHIP2, for builder and SHIP2 you can have the same class, and you need a class for items. And you see, we got set of items. That means we need to use a collection as well here. Yes. So, as I told you people here, we got a tool which is going to help us in this regard. If you got an XST, you know what? If you got an XST, we can easily generate JAXB classes for this XST. We can generate JAXB classes. What are JAXB classes? JAXB classes are nothing but they are Java classes itself. The only thing is they are mapped to XML documents. That's it. They are mapped to XML. That's the only thing. Okay. JAXB classes basically they are mapped to XML documents. That's it. Yes. So now let's do one thing. Here just right click on this XST document. We are generating Java JAXB classes now. All of you, now check this. Right click on this XST. You will find an option here. Generate. You see, all of you. In order to generate the Java classes, appropriate Java classes for that XML schema, all you need to do is just right click on that class and you will find the generate option. Generate. So in the generate, you got JAXB classes. Just select JAXB classes. Select JAXB classes. Yes. Here, once you select the JAXB classes, you see you get this wizard. Now you have to select the project, in which project you want to add the generated JAXB classes. So you have to select the project, JAXB project itself, and then click on next. Now you see here, this wizard will ask you people to provide their package details. Do you want this JAXB classes generated to be added to any of the packages? If so, you can provide the package details here. Yes, to which package you want this JAXB classes to be added. So I'll specify the package name. Let's say com.vio. That's it. I'll just give a package name here. Sorry. Next, you can just click on finish. Yes, you can click on this. Oops. Okay, sorry. Yeah, do one thing. Add JAXB libraries. I forgot to tell you people, but by default you should have the support. If it doesn't work, you have to add JAXB libraries. So from where you can download this JAXB libraries, I'll tell you. Just a minute. So you got official site here from where you can download this JAXB libraries. Yes. See. you got the download option here, you see this green button. Yeah, so you take this link, download link, all of you. So this is the page where you'll find the download link. And once you click on that download, your download will start. Okay, yes, fine. So from this site, you can download the JAXB libraries. Okay, yes. So once you're done downloading the JAXB libraries, you can add them to the project. As of now, I'll show you. I got those JAXB libraries with me, you see, in the select folder. These are the jars. Actually, you'll get a zip file. Usually what happens is, you'll get a zip file. You have to extract it. Just extract it. Yes. Just extract it. Yes. This is a select folder. You'll find the jars. Yes. Now you have to add them to this project. Add external jars. Add all these jars to the project. Yes. Okay. So now let's try to generate JAXB classes. Right click on this XSD. You got generate JAXB classes option. Select the project in which you want those classes to be added. Then provide the package name. And click on finish. Yes. Now you know what happened. So this tool has generated those JAXB classes. That means the appropriate Java classes for that XML schema. The tool has generated the appropriate Java classes for that XML schema. Let's go through these classes here. We'll see one by one. So first let's start with ESAddress. Okay, this is the address class, and you can take the fields ESAddress, and you have the details like name, street. You have this variables city, state, zip, and country. But have you noticed it? For each property here, a variable which is declared in this class, you got an annotation. What do people think what this annotation exactly means? What does that annotation means here? Yes. You know, yeah, this annotations here, they used to map this variables to the annotations here. They used to map these variables to the XML elements. To which XML element? Okay, first you see, if you take this name variable, okay, to which XML element this variable is mapped. Okay, what about the name? What is that name? Actually, if that XML element name is not specified, that means it indicates that the name of this variable and the name of that XML element both are same. Okay, yes, the name of the XML element and the name of this variable both are same. If by any chance if it is different, then you will use name attribute explicitly to specify the element name here. Okay, but in this case it is not needed. Fine. Next, you know, this XML type element, it indicates that, okay, this class is mapped to one of the complex type element with the name US address. So in the XSD, you can find that US address. Here it is complex type. Okay, so that class is mapped to this complex type element with the name US address. Okay, yes. Now similarly, if you consider the purchase order class again is a XML type. It says it is mapped to one of the complex type elements called as purchase order type. Where it is, here it is, you see, complex type element, purchase order type. What do we mean by complex type element here? I'm using the term complex type element. What does that mean? Complex type element means the element which has got sub-elements in it. Yes, the element which has got sub-elements. Yes, fine. Okay, next similarly, we got another class items. This items class is mapped to one of the XML elements, items in the existing items. Items, the complex type element again. In turn you got that elements again. Okay, fine. You see, in the items again, you got a property called as list. Sorry, we got a property called as item, which is of type list. And you know, there is a subclass defined. The subclass defined here to represent the items. There is a subclass defined to represent the items here again. Yes. That's it. Okay. So this way you see, you will get this classes will be generated. And what are these classes known as? JAXP classes. We call them as JAXP classes. Okay. Yes. So JAXP classes means the Java classes which are mapped to XML elements. Okay. Yes. Now we got one class here, special class. I want you people to check this class and tell me what is the specialty of this class. This is what you have in this class. Okay, so factory class means you see in this class you got methods. Okay, each method creates one type of object here. It creates one type of object here. Yes. Okay, fine. So now your JXP will be using this object factory to create objects. Yes. Now the next thing here, which class should be the root class here? Which class is supposed to be the root class? Which class should be the root class, the main class here? Purchase order. Now on top of the root class, always add this element XML root. Add this element XML root element. Please make a note of it, don't forget. Always add this annotation on top of the root class. Always add this annotation on top of the root class, XML root. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's it. Now you got this JAXP classes. So it's all set. Now what's the next thing you have to do here? You got XML document, right? You got this XML document. Now what I want to do is, I would like to read that XML document and create Java objects for it. Yes. I would like to create Java objects. Yes. Okay. So which component are we supposed to use here? I'll define a class called as test here. I'm defining a class called as test. Let me do that. We got XML document, right? I want to transform it into appropriate Java type. Yes. So which component we have to use to transform that XML data into Java objects? Yes. Unmarsler. Are people sure? Yes, it is unmarsler. You have to use the component called as unmarsler. Now let's see how to create the unmarsler object. In order to work with unmarsler, you have to obtain that unmarsler object. Okay? Yes. For that, I have to do this JAXP context. Instance. So you need to create a JAXP context object this way. So what is JAXP context? I can say that JAXP context is a factory object for creating the components marsler and unmarsler. JAXP context is a component which is used to create, it's a factory object, I can say. JAXP context is a factory object which is used to create the components master and unmaster thing. Yes. Now let's obtain unmaster object here. Create unmaster. This is the method which is used. Sorry. Create master. So this way we need to obtain an unmaster object. Yes. This way we need to obtain an unmaster object. After creating the unmaster object, what to do, what's the next thing here? So after you're done creating the unmaster object, now you can use it to unmaster the data. So here for this, you call this method unmaster, and then you pass that XML document name po.xml. So that unmaster method, what it does, it will take that XML file details. You see, you're passing that XML file details, and it will read that XML document, and then it will transform the data into appropriate Java format. That means objects. What it does here, it returns a JAXP element. It returns JAXP element here. It returns an object called as JAXP element. Which acts as a wrapper for your it acts as a wrapper for the JAXP objects. Which JAXP object? The purchase order. So in the JAXP element, you'll have that purchase order type object. Yes. Fine. JAXP element dot call this method get value. It returns purchase order type object here. It returns purchase order type object. Yes. Fine. So straight away you'll get this purchase order type object this way. Once you got the object, we can start reading the details of this object. Purchase order type dot order date. Get bill to So get name, city, and so on. You can read all the details. So this is field address. Okay. Now let's read that item details. In the items class, we got a property called as get item, which returns a list of items. Item name or product name. Part number, quantity. That, so that's done. Let's go. You see, we got the details here. It means the marshaller is able to read the data and it is able to transform that XML data into Java objects. And in this Java objects, you got the data. Okay, you see how simple it is for us to handle this XML documents here. Fine. So now that unmaster component, as I told you before, it uses that it uses that mapping. Definitely, it uses that mapping which you got in that JAXB classes for this transformations. And similarly, we can also do marshalling also. We did unmarshalling now, right? Similarly, we can also do marshalling. Yes. So, how to handle this marshalling? Let's see. Okay, first of all, hope what we did now, is it clear so far whatever we did? Is it clear for you people? Okay. So, here we'll go through this marshalling. Just a second. comment this code. Okay, so if you can just read this code here, basically what we are doing, we are creating purchase order type objects, and then not only purchase order, including the associated objects also. We are creating the associated objects as well here in this case. Right? Yeah. Just a second, please. Just a second. Yeah, I'm sorry. Now, let's say we have the data this way. We got the data this way. Now this data, this Java objects, I want to transform this Java objects into XML format. Now you know there is one of the JAXB components for this, right? So we have to use which JAXB component for this here again? Yes. You need to use Marshall, right? Yes. Master. So for that, first of all, you have to create a JAXB context object. You need to create a JAXB context object here. Yes. Then we need to obtain a marshaller. So obtaining a marshaller is not a big deal here. Yes. So all you need to do is just check the context of create marshaller. We create a marshaller here. Next, you have a method called as Marshall. We need to pass that purchase order type object reference. You want to transform that purchase order type object, right? And you want to store the data into which file? Let's say the file name is sample. That's it. So earlier you see, once again, if you want, you can go through it. We are creating a purchase order type object, US address. We are creating few item objects, and all these details we are adding into the purchase order type object. Right? It's all those references. You see, they are added to the purchase order object. Yes. Now here, Return that purchase order type object, we'll pass it to the marshaller. Yes. By calling the marshal method. So what is this file name which you're passing here? What is you looking? What is the file name? You know, that XML data which is generated, the XML data which is generated, that XML data, it should be added to which file? We have that master has to save or store that XML data into which file? You see, that file details. You don't need to provide the XST details here. Okay, yes. So even earlier also we never provided XST details. Okay, so you'll find that XST, we are just using it to generate the Java classes. That's it for the JXP classes here. Okay, yeah, that's it. Masters are unmastered, won't need XST. Got it? Now, this file sample.xml, where it is located, actually we don't have this file. This file will be generated. Okay. Now before we call this marshal for marshalling, I would like to add one property here. Marshaller dot set property. JXP formatted output. Set this value to true. Just add this property here. Yes. Just add this property. So what is this property formatted output does here? So this property formatted output is instructing a marshaller to format that XML data properly. Okay, yes, it will format. That means it will add, it will place it in an order properly. Yes. Otherwise, you'll find that all that XML data will be added to a single line. It adds all that XML data to a single line. That's it, and it will write it to the file. In the file, you'll find all the XML data in just single line. We don't want that to happen here. Okay, yes, fine. So now once you're done, okay, we'll just print out statement done with Marshall. Would like to print this. Okay. Here Now we'll run this code. Okay, so it prints this message. Done with master. Yes. So where is that file created? Which file? That sample.xml. Where is that file? It is in the same project. Just refresh this project once. Refresh this project. You should see the sample XML file. This is the XML file in which you got that data. This way, we can take care of marshalling here. So in marshalling, Java objects are transformed into XML data. Okay, so this is going to be the key for us in web services. Though you may not explicitly work with this type of transformations on your own, most of the frameworks, they provide the support for this actually. Yeah, you will find it. Okay, so this is what the JAXB has got to offer here. Yes. Now, once you understood how to work with this XML data, how to transform it, now we can move on and start with your RESTful web services. First, I'm going to introduce you people to RESTful web services. So first of all, what do we mean by a web service? What do we know about a web service? Before we start with web services, first of all, let's define what a web service is. Services which are running on web environment. Okay. services used to interact with different applications run in the web. Okay. And what else you people can explain regarding the web service? Okay. Here, I'll give you another simple definition of a web service. Web service is a piece of business logic or functionality which is platform and language independent. It is accessible over the web through standard web-based protocols like HTTP. So the most important thing about a web service. Okay, web services basically they contain business logic, yes of course, or some functionality. And you see this functionality which you got here in the web service, I can say that definitely it is platform and language independent. It is platform independent and language independent. So what if it is platform independent and language independent? What does that mean? What is the advantage of this? What do people think? Yes. If it is platform and language independent, that means we can access this functionality or you can access the web service from any language or using any language application. For suppose, if you have developed a web service in Java, it is not just confined to Java applications. You can access this web service using .NET. You can access this web service using PHP, C++, any other programming language. Application can be used to access this web service. It is possible. You can do that. Fine. So, what if it is accessible from different types of applications which are developed using different languages? What is the advantage? What is the advantage? That means it indicates that this is more reusable because you can access it from almost any application, right? So it is more reusable. Okay. And as I told you people, it is accessible over the web. It is accessible over the web. That means it has got high availability. You can access it from almost anywhere from a remote location also. So these are all the advantages, okay? They are very highly reusable here. Yes, they are highly reusable because you can access them from anywhere, from any type of application. They are not just confined or restricted to a particular type of application. Yes. So this web service is not only accessible in Java, but even we can access it from other languages. Usually when we talk about web services, you will find that you got two different types of web services which are available. Number one, RESTful web services. And number two, SOAP-based web services. Well, you can say SOAP web services. RESTful and SOAP web services. Here, when we talk about RESTful web services, you will find that it is actually based on an architectural style, and it uses HTTP protocol. And when we talk about SOAP web services, you'll find that they're based on a protocol called a SOAP. They're based on the protocol called a SOAP. Yes. These are basically based on two different concepts, but you will find that both the approaches which you got here, both types of web services, no matter whether it is RESTful web service or SOAP web service, they both can be used for developing platform independent and language independent services. Okay, yes, we can download platform and language independent services here. Yes, fine. First of all, without wasting any time, we will start with SOAP based web service, sorry, RESTful web services. Okay, before that, just give me 1 minute, please. Just a minute, just a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so now let's start with RESTful web services. Now, is anyone familiar with the full form of REST? What is REST? So REST is actually, it stands for representational state transfer. Yes, it stands for, it is actually, REST stands for representational state transfer. Yes. It's actually an architectural style which is followed here to develop this web services. Now, I'm going to give you people few details, notes about this RESTful web services, which I want you to make a note of it, which will help you people to better understand this RESTful web services. Okay, so the first point, REST is an architectural style that specifies constraints such as uniform interface that if applied to a service, induce desirable properties such as performance, scalability, modifiability that enable services to work best on the web. Please make a note of these points. I will try to definitely discuss about it and we'll implement it. I'll show you people. Yes. Okay. So the second point says in REST architectural style, data and functionalities are considered as resources and are accessed using URI, typically links on the web. Yes. You see, you'll find that in RESTful web services, both the data as well as the functionality is actually called as resource. Yes. Here, you see, this functionalities or data can be accessed using URIs or the web. You can access them. And the third point, the REST architectural style constrains an architecture to client-server architecture. It limits, you see, basically, you'll find that your REST architectural style, it will insist you people to use client-server architecture, which is same architecture which is used by your web applications, which are based on client-server architecture, right? Yes. And it's designed to use a stateless communication protocol, typically HTTP. Yes. Basically, it uses this HTTP protocol. So you'll find that we use HTTP protocol here. Fine. Now, how do we develop this web services, RESTful web services, using this REST architecture, okay, which is based on certain concepts, which we'll be implementing. While implementing, I'll explain them. Yes. You know, when we talk about developing the RESTful web services in Java, we have an API. That API is called as JAX-RS. Java API for XML and RESTful services. Java API for XML and RESTful services. So this is the API, JAX-RS, which is provided by Java to develop RESTful web services. Yes. But the thing is here, you know, this API alone is not enough to work with or to develop RESTful web services. Then what else you need? Actually, to help you people understand this, I'll give you an example. For suppose, when you're working with JDBC API, you know, JDBC API alone is not enough. Am I right? JDBC API alone is not enough. What else is needed in order to work with JDBC API? Along with JDBC, what else you need? Yes. Is JDBC API alone enough? Or whenever you're working with JDBC API, usually what you people will do? What else is needed along with JDBC API? You need JDBC drivers provided by vendors, database vendors. You need JDBC drivers provided by database vendors, right? Okay. Now I have a question for you people. So what is the relationship between JDBC drivers and the JDBC API? What is the relation between JDBC drivers and the JDBC API? JDBC drivers, they implement JDBC API, I can say. JDBC drivers, you'll find that they implement the interfaces of JDBC API. Am I right? You'll find that they provide the actual connection code and all will be written in this JDBC drivers itself. So I can say that this JDBC drivers are nothing but they are a set of classes which implement JDBC API. Yes. You know what? Here you will find that when it comes to, yes, JAX RS alone is not enough. You'll need Jersey. If you want to work with JAX RS, you need Jersey. What is Jersey? Jersey is considered as reference implementation of JAX RS. Jersey is the reference implementation for JAX RS, I can say. Yes. It implements JAX RS interfaces, I can say. Jersey not only acts as a reference implementation, but you can also call it as a RESTful web services framework. It's a framework and the reference implementation also. Yes, fine. You know, you will find that there is one more reference implementation which is available other than Jersey, that is REST Easy. But you will find that, okay, Jersey is widely used. Jersey is widely used. You got another reference implementation which is known as REST Easy. REST Easy. It is also one of the reference implementations like Jersey itself. Yes. Which is called as REST Easy. Fine. Okay. So now, in order to work with JAX RS, we'll be using Jersey here. Okay. You have to download this Jersey libraries. You have to download this Jersey libraries. So from where to download this Jersey libraries here? So you need to download them from the official site itself. Okay, this is the official site where you'll find the Jersey downloads. Okay, but before that, here, the very important statements about Jersey. Which I want you to make a note of. Yes, regarding the Jersey. So this is from the official site, the statements. So what they say about Jersey. What is Jersey? So Jersey is a RESTful web services framework it is open source. Okay, it's production quality framework. for developing RESTful web services in Java that provides the support for JAX RS APIs and serves as a it also serves as a reference implementation. Yeah. So in order to work with Jersey, first of all, you have to download the libraries and then start working with this Jersey framework. Okay, first of all, hope everyone has made a note of it. This is very important regarding the Jersey. If you say using Jersey, if someone asks you what is Jersey, you can get it. You can just explain it this way. Okay. Now let's download this Jersey libraries. You know, this is the download page where you'll find the downloads. You can download this Jersey JAX RS 2.0 R8 bundle. Okay, from this page, you can download the 2.0 R8 bundle. Yes. And once you're done downloading this libraries, you can start working with Jersey framework. Yes. Okay. So let's make use of Jersey here. Okay. So let's see how to work with Jersey. So the first and foremost thing, okay, once you're done downloading the libraries, okay, what you can do is now let's try to use this Jersey framework while implementing. Let's see how to develop certain functionalities uh, to implement, to develop this RESTful services. Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess let's do that. Fine, no problem. All of you, okay, take 5 minutes break, not 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 10 minutes in the sense it becomes 20 or 15 minutes again. Take 5 minutes, come back in 5 minutes, it becomes 10 minutes. I know that. Okay. So now it is, okay, 9:28 for me. In 10 minutes, that means, okay, let it be 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Just come back sharply in 10 minutes and start again. Okay, let's start in 10 minutes sharply. Yes, come back in 10 minutes. The meeting, I'll just retain it like that. I won't end it. I'll just pause this meeting for a while. You people come back in 10 minutes. Okay, yes, fine. I will resume our class. Fine. Okay, so hope everyone is back. Now let's start working with this RESTful web services. So the first thing what you need to do here is create a dynamic web project, because web services are web applications itself. So first of all, make sure that you create a dynamic web project. Yes, you see. Here, I'll call this RESTful proj. Target runtime, let's say, is 7.0. Tomcat server. I'll click on finish. I'm just creating a dynamic web project, which you people are already familiar. It's just a web project. The way we have created the web project so far, similarly we'll do the same here. Fine. So after creating this web project here, the first thing you have to configure a component provided by RESTful web services. You see, now I'll show you people what you can do is you can take the help of the Jersey here, or this official website, where you will understand how to configure this framework and all, so that even later on you can work with this. Yes. So the first and foremost thing, in the web.xml file, just a second. It's still loading, just a second. Okay. So what you need to do is here, you need to configure something called a servlet container in the web.xml file. Just a second. Oh, you should be. Just a second. Okay, don't worry about that. Just a second. Okay, fine. So now after creating this project, don't worry about the reference documentation. Now once you're done creating this project, the first and foremost thing here, what you have to do is add the Jersey libraries here. Add the Jersey libraries. So we have downloaded those libraries. Actually, just now I did that. Already have those libraries with me. So all I need to do is just add them here. Yes. So I'm going to copy these jars which are in the lib folder and paste them here. Once you're done copying these libraries, the next thing what you need to do is here you need to configure a predefined component provided by the Jersey framework. So what is that component? It's basically a predefined servlet. So if it is a servlet, usually where you will configure the servlet. Yes. If it is a servlet, where you will configure the servlet. So you will configure the details about that servlet in the web.xml file, right? So here also, what I'm going to do is here, I'll configure the details about the servlet in the web.xml file here. So I've copied it from an example. So let me just paste it here. Yes. So you see this here. This is the servlet, the Jersey servlet. Usually you should need to copy here. That's it. Now, once you're done copying this servlet, the next thing what you have to do is you have to configure Okay, what details of the servlet we have configured? What is that servlet name? You see, the servlet name is servlet container, and this servlet, okay, it takes initialization parameter. What is initialization parameter? You people know that. Basically, the parameters which are passed onto the servlet when the init method is called. So this initialization parameter, I'll tell you what to do with this. You have to configure a package name here. What is the package name? This can be anything you wish. Com dot, let's say, mtc dot app dot services or services. So this is a package where we'll add the RESTful services. This is the package where you'll add the RESTful services here. You have to provide the package name definitely. Yes. Next you got load on startup. What is this load on startup? What does it mean? What is load on startup? Load on startup, it indicates that here this servlet will be loaded as soon as the application loads. Okay, yes. And this servlet will intercept the client's request which is placed for the URL REST. All the requests whose URL whose prefix starts with REST, they will be intercepted by this servlet here. Okay, they will be intercepted by this servlet. Yes, fine. Now, once you're done configuring these details, you can start working. Here, let's develop a RESTful service class. And the RESTful service class should be in this package. I'll define a class in this package. I'll call it as a sample service. Yes. Okay. You know, as I told you people, a service, what exactly you'll have in a service? Yes, what did I say? What exactly you'll have in a service? What exactly you'll have in a service? So you'll have some business logic in it or functionality in a service. Usually you'll have some functionality or business logic in it, right? Yes. So now usually when it comes to Java, where we'll define this business logic or functionality in a method. In a method we'll do it, right? Yes. Here also, what I'm going to do is I'll define a method or something like this. Let's say the method name is get message. The return type of this method is string. Let's say it takes a string value. Or initially, let's say it doesn't take anything. Okay, yes. Or return, let's say this value, hello. From RESTful service. Okay, so we'll start with this way. Now, as of now, you see, this class which you got here is a very simple Java class. Nothing much in it. This is just a simple Java class. Nothing more than that. And you know, the functionality which is defined in this method, or the logic which is defined in this method, where it is accessible, it is accessible within this application at most as of now, because it's just a simple method which can be invoked within this application. Nothing more than that. Am I right? Is it accessible over the web? Do you people really think it is accessible over the web as of now? I can say no. It is just accessible within this method. Sorry, within this application. Local to this application. Nothing more than that. Yes. Okay, fine. Now let's make it a RESTful service. So in order to make it a resource class, we call it as a resource class, and that method which contains a functionality, what exactly it is called as, what exactly it is known as, yes. As we have discussed, you will find that the functionality or data in the RESTful resource is actually called as a resource. The data or functionality, it is always called as a resource here. It is always known as a resource. Okay, it is always known as a resource. And usually this classes which have got that functionalities, you will annotate them with, just a second. Okay, I guess I need to download few more libraries. Just a minute. We have downloaded one part here, but you got one more thing. Just a minute. Usually earlier all these things used to be at one place. Now they've been scattered in 2.0. In 2.1, we used to have all these charts at one place. I need that jar, the XRS jar. We got specifications here, just a second. I should have them in my place. Let me just check once. Okay. Okay, I've got this jar. Let me copy this. I'll give you the necessary libraries which are needed. And I'll tell you how to address this problem of, working with this dependencies. Maybe we can do this, but we'll see that later. Yes, fine. Let me add. I'll give you the set of jars which are needed. Don't worry. Now, we use this path annotation to specify or to assign a URL here. It's, you'll find that for this resource classes, RESTful resource classes, you'll have URIs. And in the statements which I gave you people regarding the RESTful services, here the resource methods are accessed using the URLs itself, right? The resources are accessed using URLs. You know what? When we talk about resources, okay, resource can be a functionality or data. And usually these resources, the way we access them, the way we work with them, I can say that it is broadly classified into four types. It is broadly classified into four types. What is it? It is broadly classified into four types. What are they? Based on that, CRUD operations. CRUD means so yes, you know, our resource methods, they can be broadly classified into four types, you know, based on the CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete. And usually for these four operations, you have HTTP methods which represent these four operations, I can say. We got four HTTP methods which represent this four operations. And these operations can be related to this method, you see. Get, sorry, create, put, read is for get, update, post, and for delete you have delete method. So those, okay, these four operations here, CRUD operations, they are represented by four HTTP methods. These operations or functionalities, they are represented by this four HTTP methods here. Yes. Yes. You know, this is a standard which is followed in RESTful web services. A uniform interface is followed here. You'll find that for these four operations, you have they're represented by four HTTP methods. They're represented by four HTTP methods here. Yes. Fine. As I told you people, you know, initially in the statements, the REST architectural style constrains an architecture to client server and is designed to use stateless communication protocol, typically HTTP. Yes. Okay. You know this method here, okay, which has got some functionality. It represents which CRUD operation here? What do you people think? Get. Yes, that's the reason why. Yes, it represents that read operation, right? And for read, you have get method, HTTP method. So you have to annotate it with this HTTP method get. Okay, and then you have to specify what type of data it generates. Produces media type dot application text. Just a second. Text text plain. That's it. Let's see. You're done. Now we have made it a RESTful service, I can say, which can be accessed using this URL sample serve. And to access this resource method, you have to use HTTP method get. You have to use HTTP method get here. Yes. Fine. So let's do one thing. We'll deploy this application on the server and once test it. Let's see if everything has gone fine or if there is an issue. I see some issues here. Sorry, just let me check this. Okay, it didn't start at all. People, what they did is, the issue with this guys is, they didn't put all the libraries at one place. That's a big damn issue with this Jersey. And we have to check where they are. Just a minute. So a few jars are missing. That's the problem, as I told you people. Just a second. And you won't find all those jars at one place. That is another trouble here. Yes. In 1.1, in 1.x, Jersey 1.x, we don't have this problem. In 1.x, we don't have these issues. The issue is in 2.x itself. You see, whatever the jars which they have recommended, I've downloaded them, but you'll find that they all are at not one place. Let me just check. Okay, we have the other jars. Let me just add this jars here. Just a second. API is also there. Okay, sorry, just a minute. Jersey Goa, the list of jars, and you need H2K, H2K utils. Almost everything is needed. Let me add them otherwise. Okay, yes, fine. I'll show you where they are. I found it actually these days. They're separated. They were at one place earlier. So the number of jars which are needed have increased with RESTful services especially. Yes. Now let's try to reload the application here. Okay, server is taking then more than what it needs. Let me delete the other projects. Okay. 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 Now, how do we access this resource? As I told you people, you have to use this URI, sample serve. But before that, you provide this prefix rest followed by this URI. Okay, you see, you got this message. It says hello from RESTful service. Yes. And how we are able to access this resource method? Through the URL. You see that method, resource method, you're able to access it using the URL here. You know, in RESTful services, always all the resources are accessed using the URLs itself. Okay? Yes, that is the standard way of accessing the RESTful services. Fine. But how it works exactly here? You see, whenever we place a request for this URL, first of all, you know which component will intercept that request. You know, which component will intercept this request. So the first component which intercepts this request is servlet container. Okay, servlet container is a component which is responsible for intercepting the request. And here you'll find that this servlet will take the request, it will analyze that URL, and it will check which resource class and resource method is associated to that URL. Okay, that method takes which HTTP method request. So all such things will be inspected, and accordingly this method will be invoked here. Okay, yes, fine. What if I want to pass a parameter here? Okay, here in that case we can pass the parameters. Let's see how to do that. Okay, string, let's say a name. We have to register it. This is little different here when it comes to RESTful resources. We have to do this create path param parameter name, which says name itself. And then you need to add an annotation here, create path slash name. So in this case, what we are doing, we are registering a path parameter, which is name, and then we'll add this annotation path, which indicates that in order to call this method, a path parameter has to be passed. A path parameter has to be passed. Path parameter has to be passed here. Yes. Okay. What is a path parameter? How to pass a path parameter? Let's see. You see, this time you can add a parameter. You can append a parameter. You just follow the path parameter this way. So after the URL, followed by the URL, you do this, add a slash and pass a value. It can be anything. Let's say hi. This is the parameter value which I want to pass here. Okay, yes, and this is the parameter value which I want to pass. So let's see what happens. It says not found. Just a second. Oh, it is just sample serve, I guess, not service. Sample serve. Yeah. Actually, we are not using that parameter over there. Let's make use of that parameter. Okay. Yes. Then we are passing the parameter. I'm not using it. So we'll append that value here. Fine. We'll generate that message based on the parameter which is passed on to this method. Okay. Yes. Now let's try to access this resource method. Yes, this time I got this message. Hello Harry. Okay, we are able to read that path parameter. Fine. What if I want this method to take another path parameter? Yes. Then what to do? So you can add one more parameter here. Okay. Your method. You see that resource method can take any number of path parameters. There won't be any restriction on it. Yes. For example, I can add this way. Add path parameter. Let's say this is first name. Just a second. It takes another path parameter, let's say last name. And add a space in between. Okay. Now we have to also configure that second path parameter. First name. First one is first name. And the second one is, let's say, last name. That's okay. Yes. This way we can configure more than one path parameter. Okay. Now we can pass two path parameters. Fetch sample serve slash say Harry. Press enter. You see, we are passing two parameters here. And we got those values, we are able to read them. Yes. Now I have a question for you people. How can I say that, you see, this resource method or RESTful resource method, service method here is platform independent, especially language independent? How can I say that this is language independent, this resource method, the service method which you got here, okay, web service method which you got here is language independent here? What do you people think? So this is very simple. Yes. What do you people think? How can I say that this is language independent, even platform independent? What do you people think? How can we justify that statement? So it is accessible in the browser using URL. Can we only access it using browsers? That's it. That's resource methods. And what if it is accessible through the browser? We can say that it is language and platform independent. That's it. Yes. Actually, you see, the way we are accessing this RESTful resource methods, it is through the URL. And URL is not language or platform independent here. The URLs which you're using here, is it specific to any language or is it specific to any platform? I can say no, not at all. The URLs which you got here, it is not specific to any language or it is not specific to any platform. Yes. And you will find that you got client APIs to access this web services. Okay. Definitely you got client APIs. Not only from the browser, but even you can write a program. Got client APIs, I can say, which we can use to access the RESTful methods. Okay. Yes. Pragmatically also we can call them, not only through the browsers. I'll show you how to do that. Fine. But as of now, so far what we did, is it clear for you people? Okay. Now few people will try to relate this resource method you to with the servlet. Can we relate it to a servlet here? Actually, it is not just like a servlet. It is more than that. We'll see that. Okay, don't worry. Now I'm going to show you people a very interesting thing about this RESTful service. What is it? Let's see. Here, for suppose we will define a class. Which represents the product. Let me just do this. I'm defining a product class. Okay. Here, I would like to make it a JAX3 class. I want to make it a JAX3 class. What if I want to make it a JAX3 class? What we have to do? It's pretty simple. All you need to do is just annotate it with XML root element. That's enough. Okay. Just annotate it with XML root element. Earlier we have used a tool which generates JAX3 classes through XML schema. But you see, all we need to do is just do this XML element. But other mappings are missing here. What mappings are missing? What mappings are missing here? Yes. The property mappings, property to XML mappings are missing. Am I right? But you don't need to worry about it. If you don't do this mappings, by default, the framework will assume that the property names are same as, these properties, it will map them to the XML elements whose name also will be same. Yes, property name and XML element name will be same here. Yes. Okay. Here, I'm going to define a method here which returns a product object. Let's say get product. Let's say it takes a parameter. Let's say it takes a query parameter. Now I'll show you people query parameter. So they can also take query parameters. Yes. And I'll annotate it with the get and produces I'll specify application XML type. I'll specify application XML type. And when this method is invoked, let's say it returns a product object with some data in it. Some name, okay. So this method, when it is invoked, it will take a product ID, which is a query parameter. We'll see how query parameter is different from path parameter. And it returns a product object here. And you see what I've specified as I've specified the media type as application XML. That means it should take a product object and return the product object in the XML format. So now it's the responsibility of the framework to take this product object and transform it into XML format here. That is what we'll see here. Okay, let's see. Let's check this. Now, how will you place the request for this URL? Sorry, for that method. What do you people think? What am I supposed to do? How can we access that method? The second method. You know, if you want, we can configure a path for this method separately again. It's slash product. We can do this. So what happens if I do this? Let's say for that method now you got a URI. So let's reload this application once. Now I'll do this rest slash sample serve slash product slash not slash product question mark. It's a query parameter. Query parameter will use a question mark ID equal to 111 message. That's it. This is the URL. Okay, let's place a request here. So what you can see here, the product object which is written by that method which contains the data. Okay, here you got an XML data here, right? So who's taking care of this transformations from product object to XML? Who's taking care of this? So did we write any code for this transformations here in this method? How that XML data is generated? You see, first of all, we are asking the framework to gen to, to generate this response. What type of response? Application XML. And framework, what it does is it will take that product object and it will transform it into XML format. Yes. And now the framework, it uses which API here to transform this Java object to XML. Framework, it uses which API to handle this transformations. What do people think? Yes. So Jersey framework will be using which API to transform this, transform this product object to XML format. Yes. It uses JAXP. Yeah, definitely. Internally what it does is here, it uses JAXP itself. Okay. It will take the help of JAXP framework itself. Yeah. This way, JAXP will be used internally. Okay. JAXP is used internally. Fine. Now you know. Yeah, this method will return it. This method, resource method, will be returning product object. Yes. Fine. You know what? Here, now these resource methods, we can also invoke them through the HTML forms also, that is possible. Through the HTML forms also, we can call this resource methods. Let's try to do that. For suppose, I want to add a record, product record, then what to do? Say I'll define a method for that. Sorry, a HTML form for that. Let's define an HTML form. Let's say add product. Let me do one thing here. Already you people know how to create a form, right? Let me quickly copy the form creation code from some other project here. Okay. Yes. Okay, I already have this form here. Okay, all of you check this form. Don't worry about the action URL. Just check this form. Fields. You see, you got this fields like product ID, name, price, and description. Okay. Here, whenever this form is submitted, I want a RESTful resource method to take this form details and add it to the database server. Okay, I want the RESTful resource method to take these details and add it to the database server. Okay, how to do that? So let's develop a RESTful resource which will do that for us. So what I can do is here, just a second. Okay, let's create a DO. Shall we create a DO first of all? Which will take the details and we'll add them to the database server. Okay, and shall we make use of Hibernate here? Yes, let's do that. We'll make use of Hibernate, not a problem. So I'll copy this configuration file. Already we have that product class and all, right? So I'm going to copy that configuration file. I'll add it here. Hibernate configuration file. Just a second. Let's make use of Hibernate here. Okay. First of all, I'll copy that configuration file to the source folder. I'll only use the product and supply classes. So already we have that product class, right? So let me just copy the classes which we got here and add them to this project. We'll just replace it. Yes. And we're using Hibernate here, right? So if you're using Hibernate framework, you have to download that libraries and add them to this project. So you have to copy that Hibernate libraries. Already you people have done that, right? You might have downloaded Hibernate libraries. So let's add them here to this project. Yes. Sorry. I'll copy the jars. I'm copying that Hibernate libraries here and I'll place them here in the slip folder. Because it's a web application, you have to place them here in this lib folder. You see, I've added Hibernate libraries and I've added the Hibernate configuration file. Okay, yes. And you got a DO. Now you can, we need that util. Let me copy that util. Hibernate util. What exactly you have in this Hibernate util? Could you people please recollect one? What exactly you have in this Hibernate util? Yes. You got a method which returns a session factory object, right? Yes. And each and everyone is familiar with that session factory object here. Okay. Okay, hope you people remember that. Now, what I'm going to do is in the product DO, I will add a method which takes the product object and will add it to the database server. Okay. So for this, we need to obtain a session first. I'll use that Hibernate util dot get session factory dot open session. Then you can obtain a transaction object. And then you can begin the transaction. You can call the sessions save method and pass the product object. And then commit the transaction. Yes, that's it. This is the DO method which you got here, which will take the product object and will add it to the database server. Okay, yes. I'll do one more thing. I'll add one more method to fetch the record also. Okay, yes. Get product by ID. So I'll obtain a session object and through the session with fetch the product record. You see, in this example, we are using Hibernate and RESTful web services together. Okay, fine. Now you see, I got two methods here, right? I'm going to define a RESTful service class here. The class, we call it as product service. Add product record. So this is the method which takes the product object. But the thing is, here we are getting the data from the form, right? We got an HTML form. Whenever this form is submitted, I want this method to take that form details and add them to the database. So if you want to read the form data, this is what you need to do. Yes. So what we need to do is, first of all, we have to configure a URL for this RESTful resource class. That's the path. Product service. And for this method also, I'll add a URL. What is it? Add product. Okay. Now this method, it represents which CRUD operation? This method here, it represents which CRUD operation? Put. So you can add this CRUD operation here, put on top of this method. And you can also use post here if you want. Let's use post, not a problem. Okay. Post the put thing is fine for this one definitely. Now, whenever the form is submitted, I want that form data to be added. That form data to be populated into this fields. You can map that form fields, text fields to this parameters here. How? Your framework, your RESTful services provide that option. Yes, you have these annotations. Form param ID. Iterate. Form param name. Iterate. Form param description. Here you have to specify the parameter name, form parameter name, form text field name. I can the text field names you have to specify. Which text field you want to map? The text field name you are specifying using this form param here. So this way each parameter of this method will be mapped to the text field names. So using this annotation form param, we are mapping this form parameters, this method parameters to the text fields here. That's it. So whenever that form is submitted, I want this method to be invoked. So what to do? You have to configure this URL, product service, add product should be the URL. So in the form, you can do that REST product service. In the form, you see, you have to specify the URL this way. That's it. And method is post. Fine. So when this method is invoked, so this method will take that product details. It will read the data that the values which are in that parameters will pass on to the constructor here. They will be passed on to the constructor. And in turn, now here obtain a product DO and call that method add product. That's it. Once it is done, display message record added successfully. Okay, yes, fine. So hope everyone got it. So whenever this form is submitted, you see the request will be placed for this URL, product service, add product. So the form data will be passed on. So for that URL, product service, add product, you will find that this add product record method is mapped. So you see, we got this parameters for this method, and this parameters, you see, we are mapping them to the form fields using this form param annotations. So that form data will be populated into this parameters here, and then this method is taking that parameters, will create a product object, will populate them with this data which is in that parameters, and then it will call that product DO method add product and will pass that product object. That's it. So the product DO in turn will add it to the database server through the Hibernate framework. That's it. Okay. You see this product class which you got here, I'll also annotate it with XML root element. Okay, you can do this, not a problem. Also annotate it with XML root element. Fine. So let's run this code. Let me deploy this. Okay. So let's access that form first. Add product HTML. So you got this product form. Now, I guess one thing is missing here. I'm sorry. What is missing? I've added Hibernate libraries, but you need to also add MySQL drivers because Hibernate internally uses MySQL drivers because we're interacting with MySQL server. JDBC drivers are also needed. JDBC drivers will be needed definitely. So please make sure that you add that. It's loading that. Just a second. Okay. double one, double two, double three. Okay, S6. So let's try to add this record. I'll click on add product. There is some issue. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. I thought of changing it, but I didn't do that. Actually, here, I've placed this entity classes in a different package, right? That is a problem. Entity dot app dot Leo. Let me reload it. Okay. Click on add product. Still we got some problem. Just a second. Still it says class not found, form dot entity dot product. Just a second. We have changed it here, right? Let me remove this application. Let me stop the server once. Let's test it now. Okay, this time the record is added. You see, the Hibernate has generated that way. Because we're not sending any response, the same page is displayed here. Okay, let's check this in the database server once, whether we got the record or not. Okay, you see the last record is this. Fine. So this way we can use this RESTful resource method to handle a form request. And you see, in this example, I've demonstrated how to use Hibernate along with the RESTful web services. You see, it is not much difficult. As I told you people, all you need to do is just add that Hibernate configuration file, entity classes, and start working with it here. That's it. Okay. So, anyone got any doubts in this regard? Please let me know. Okay, good. Hope this is clear for you people. Fine. So, we got few more things to discuss in this RESTful web services. But you see, in this example, what I want you to understand here is the role played by each framework here. You see, these two frameworks together we have used it to develop a web service. Fine. So what is the role played by the Jessie framework? It helps you people to develop a service. And Hibernate framework, it provides the support for the web service to interact with the database server, right? It's the service which you develop. It takes the help of Hibernate to interact with the database server here. All those things, find that. Yes. These are the features of these two frameworks. We're using them together to develop this web service. Okay, fine. Still, anyone got any doubts in this regard, please let me know. Okay, good. Fine. Yeah, I'll let you know when I teach those things. Yes. Any other questions? Okay. So you will better practice those things. Okay, good. Thank you. So we'll be meeting in the evening at our regular times.